Not only did the big hitters disappear, but Game Week 29 plans have been absolutely destroyed by injuries. Hello there, hope you're having a great Monday. What is up, guys, and welcome to FPL Today and the team selection video for Game Week 29, Blank Game Week 29, where we only actually have 4 fixtures to be concerned about, and unfortunately my plans have been absolutely destroyed by some injuries to some key players. However, we'll break that down in this video. So if you enjoy this content and does help you with your FPL content this season, please do make sure to hit that like button, subscribe and hit that notification bell for FPL, and let's get straight into this video. So we start off as always with how I did in Game Week 28, and we have actually got a green arrow. It's not too bad of a game week. It might go down a little bit with the Liverpool game, but it's mainly 3 players that have turned up for us, and they're all in the back line. Now, I know a lot of people have transferred these players out, but Stones, Cancelo and Shaw have all returned big for me in Game Week 28. Cancelo, of course, getting the assist and a clean sheet, 12 points, for Stones' goal and a clean sheet. So that was pretty much the perfect goal for me in that game to make sure that this game week wasn't a dud. Luke Shaw also turning up with a clean sheet and bonus points, meaning he got 9 points. So very happy with the fact that we kept them and held a transfer instead of potentially bringing in a player early for Game Week 29, because to be honest, I need those transfers with what else transpired this game week. Usually we would now bring in some players that returned a few points, or still have a few players held back for the game with Liverpool and Wolves, but we have no one in that fixture, so we have ended up with everyone else getting 3 points or less, although Kane did get his 2 points doubled to 4. And then we also go to the bench, and you can see that no one on the bench really returned anything significant either, and unfortunately you can see 2 major new injury concerns in the squad of Bamford and Heung-min Son. Now, this is really not what I needed before Game Week 29. The whole point of having 2 transfers is potentially I could have used those 2 transfers and then not taken a hit, or only taken 1 hit to make 3 changes to the squad, which would have seen me in really good stead for Game Week 29, but we'll get on to that. So what that left me with was 53 points with no minus for once this game week, which actually saw us rise in rank to 171,537th, with overall points now at 1,780. The average for the game week was actually 33, so despite the fact that it doesn't look amazing, it was a pretty good game week for me. Now, usually what we do here is do the players at risk, but what we're going to do instead is look at the issues of my Game Week 29 side after we go over the team selection. But before we do that, here's a quick word from partners of the channel, Fantasy Football Hub. All the data on FPL Today is taken from the Fantasy Football Hub, with tools such as player comparison to choose the best players out of 2 options, Opta-Stats tables to see who could be hitting form soon and who will be amongst the goals, and a fixture ticker so you know who has not just the form but also the fixtures to match, and so much more, like articles and coverage of other fantasy football games. Ask yourself why you haven't joined the Fantasy Football Hub. It's just £2 a month to unlock your FPL potential. So guys, if you want access to the same data that we use here on FPL Today, do check out the top link in the description. Show Fantasy Football Hub what a great partner we are and help support the channel. So let's get started into this absolute mess of a Game Week 29 side. Now, we do actually, if we eliminated all injury concerns, have quite a few players playing in Game Week 29. We have 8 players on the pitch, with also Areola on the bench, making it 9. But of course, I'm probably not likely to bench boost in this one because the benefits probably would be pretty slim. But at least we know if something happens to Martinez, we do have Areola on the bench. So with 8 players on the pitch, with 2 transfers in hand, I could have easily fielded 10 players for this game week, and a -4 would have got me to a full 11. Now, the issue, of course, is the fact that Grealish has been injured for what seems like forever now, and the only reason we really held him was the hope that he'd be back by Game Week 29, and we wouldn't have to use a transfer for him. On top of that, now Heung-min Son and Bamford both came off the pitch with injuries in Game Week 28, leaving me now with only 5 players for Game Week 29. 29. Those 2 transfers would build it up to 7. Now, I have said previously that I'd be happy with 7, but with me planning this far in advance, I was really hoping for around that 10 mark. So we will be keeping a close eye on press conferences, looking for news on Heung-min Son and Bamford. Hopefully they're okay. We go into this with 7 and we can get up to 9 easily. But the players we are hopeful of playing are Martinez with Tottenham Hotspurs at home, El Mohammadi with that same fixture, slight concern about Matty Cash returning and him not starting in this game, which would be annoying considering I brought him in thinking I've got a cheap Aston Villa defender for game week 29, and then Cash of course recovers in time. Got Rafinha with Fulham away, Antonio with Arsenal at home, and of course Kane with Aston Villa away, with the captaincy most likely going on Kane, but there is a small chance that I might take a punt of putting it on Rafinha. So let's get to the meat and bones of this video. What am I actually planning to do? Now, of course, we're going to use the 2 transfers. Probably not going to use them on Son, Bamford or Grealish, just in case they return for game week 29, which would be, of course, the best case scenario. So moving on to potential transfers, the issue we actually have is the fact that looking through all the teams and looking through the fixtures, there's probably only 5 players I'm really considering to bring in. Now, if we consider how Bale performed in game week 28 against Arsenal, he was a bit of a peripheral figure and he got substituted off quite early by Mourinho, who wanted a bit more from his players. So if we discount Bale, because I already have 2 Spurs options and I don't know if Son is playing, we only really have 4 left, and we're starting off with Lingard, who was always a consideration for me to bring in. Over the last 6 game weeks, we're looking at a player with 13 shots on goal, which is the highest in this list, 8 shots on target with 9 from inside the box and 3 big chances, all the best numbers of anyone other than Gareth Bale that I'm actually considering. XG is at 2.53 with 2 goals scored in the last 6 game weeks. Also 5 key passes, 2 big chances created and 2 assists with an XA of 1.32. He is one of the most exciting players I can look at for game week 29. His teammate is also a consideration who had done brilliant for me, and then I transferred him out for some strange reason because West Ham's fixtures looked difficult, but I should have just kept him in the side, and that is Aaron Cresswell. He doesn't really have much goal threat with only 3 shots on goal. However, West Ham are capable of keeping clean sheets, and he's got 9 key passes with 4 big chances created in the last 6 games with 2 assists and an XA of 1.81. Really disappointed in myself that I got rid of Cresswell, especially as he had the game week 29 coming up, and it would have probably left me with even more players if I transferred in El Mohammadi for someone else. However, I was very unlikely to take out Shaw, Cancelo and Stones before game week 29, but El Mohammadi could have quite easily come in for Loughton and I'd be in an even better position than I'm currently in. Then outside of the West Ham Arsenal fixture, we're looking at the likes of Veltman at Brighton Hove Albion. Now, he is capable of clean sheet points, as Brighton proved with their run of clean sheets earlier on in the season, and he's also got some decent underlying stats with 10 shots on goal, 4 on target, 7 from inside the box and 2 big chances with an XG of 1.24, and he's actually managed to score from that XG. He's also got key passes of 6 with 2 big chances created and an XA of 1.13, and with them playing Newcastle, we're hopeful of a clean sheet in that one. Of course, you could look at Lewis Dunk for the goal threat, but I think overall the underlying stats are a little bit more in favour of Veltman. And then finally, we have a player that I transferred out because I was disappointed in the fact that he wasn't getting clean sheets. And of course, since then, he's managed to do decently in front of goal and with his creativity. And that's Stuart Dallas. At 5.1 million, he's risen in price by this point, but he has managed in the last 6 shots on goal, 2 of them being on target and 3 from inside the box, scoring 1 goal. His XG is only at 0.39, however, but he is managing to make the most of his opportunities with that goal. He's also managed to get 6 key passes and 1 big chance created with an XA of 0.71, and he's managed to get an assist from that. So he's actually overperforming his underlying stats. But sometimes you just get players like that, and Dallas seems to be someone that can really hurt you in a game week, especially game week 29. If he does anything in that one and I don't own him, we could be looking at a red arrow. So the likelihood is I'm going to be bringing in at least 2 of the players I've just mentioned, and maybe even 3 of them, and just hoping game week 29 isn't a terrible one. Bale is also a consideration if I hear that Son is out, although the performance against Arsenal did leave a bit of a sour taste in my mouth, but we have to remember he has been in some great form before that fixture, so we're hoping that potentially that was only a one-off. And fingers crossed the likes of Son and Bamford are okay for game week 29, then we should be looking pretty good. And maybe my Christmas will come early and Jack Grealish will manage to appear in Game Week 29, and then we'll probably be a little bit over the moon, to be honest. Anyway, guys, hopefully you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for FPL, and let me know your Game Week 29 headaches in the comments down below, as well as checking out Fantasy Football Hub, top link in the description. With all that being said, I've been JNO, this has been FPL Today, and remember, it's all about the game.